Yeah, I always tell people, I mean, you have to be disciplined. That's the first thing. But anybody can achieve having a very strong muscular body. So, yeah, I'm going to be 59. So I'm at the, and where do I go all the time? I love the gym. So after I'll be at the gym working out. People are like, how long do you spend in the gym? About 2 hours. It's 45 minutes of cardio, and then the rest is a weight circuit. So,
Talking about dementia.
and
Can you
Oh,
comment?
Alzheimer's.
that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'm going to take another class to get certified with Parkinson's as well, because I think all that ties in together.
Oh, yeah.
But it's also it's movement, but it's also food. What are you consuming?
Yeah.
So,
So tell us about though the dementia. What does that mean? And when you talk to someone during a class or training, what would that mean that you've gotten extended to include dementia?
so basically, what I'm trying to do is fire the neurons in the brain for neuroplasticity. So as we age, if we don't continue to fire those neurons, they're going to pretty much shut down. And what they're showing is that water, we have to drink water. People don't drink enough of water, so we're basically dehydrating our brain. But it's also the foods that you ingest. They've already linked aluminum, mercury to problems with cognitive health. So what I do is I'm going to be doing really key things that are it's through the Alzheimer's. It's like a meditation that you use with your fingers and saying these certain words. These like I'm going to just say do re mi, but also just repeating, clapping your hands, surprisingly enough, is enough to wake up the brain. And there's other, like I said, I call them tools that I promote in these classes that are dementia, Alzheimer's. But it's just people realizing that it's like making a circle with one hand and then drawing a straight line. I have people doing that because, and then we flip you know, so that
Mm,
people can do. So you want to work the right and left brain. You don't want to stay one side. Works the five. I call it the areas of the brain, like strategic planning, memory recall, analytical thinking, memory. So we did memory recall. Some AC. Oh, creativity, and then like kinesthetic learning. Because, like I said, that's what you want to get when you're working the mind. So I incorporate all that while sitting in a chair because your body has to think more because you're literally sitting and following me with what I'm doing. And of course you want to have fun. So that's why it's done to really fun music that brings back memories and laughing because again, laughter has been proven. Builds the beautiful oxytocin, all the fun chemicals in the brain. So, and that's what I
excellent.
tie together.
So if you were writing an article about it and you organized it, and someone like Ted's excellent at writing and to leverage subjects, and he can
Mhm.
just yeah, he's very gifted and he writes for other coaches, other experts.
Okay.
Yeah, and so he could literally take something you wrote, and we could just publish what you wrote, but he could also expand on it.
Cognitive health is right now, I think, the big ticket because there's so many people. Because you think about it, the millennials, the baby boomers, they're living longer and they're now entering, we'll just say 50-year-olds, they're really watching their memory and recall slow down. They're having brain fog. Let's go into diet, and nutrition, the first thing, but it's really important to them now because they want to have, they want to remain sharp as a tack in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. So this is like really clear that people are really needing this and wanting this. So I feel like this is the next big thing that's happening right now. And I want to be,
Oh, I think Carol's correct. Um, there is a lot, especially with all the focus there is on Parkinson's to some degrees, but
mhm,
Alzheimer's to a larger
mhm,
degree. And there, I think it's thing that it's touching more people now. So more
mhm.
people that don't have it are aware of it, and to Carol's point, are worried about ending up in that bucket themselves. So
Right.
Yeah, I definitely think there's something there for that.
Hear my- I think it's having the right mental attitude. I think it's
Mhm.
also being aware of your own self-talk. You're talking to yourself. And lastly, I'll say it's being aware of every word you say, developing a consciousness of when you're speaking. Now, why is that important? Because guess who you hear? You hear you. And number two, guess who you believe? You believe you. You know, someone says you're not going to make it, and you say no, I'm not going to quit. Guess what? You're not going to quit. Someone says
Mhm.
keep going, hang in there, and you're like, no, you don't know how bad I feel. You don't need the trouble I've seen. Guess what? You know, you're leaning that way. There was a song many decades ago. The voice you hear is going to win the fight. So you don't
Mhm.
want to listen to the one that's telling you, think of all the hard times you've had and how you've always feel inferior. You want to hear the one about your potential.
What about you, Ted?
I would agree with what he said, and I would add in also that if you don't realize your value in God's eyes, then
Mhm.
that you pretty much have no chance at all anyway. So might as well
Right.
just fold up
Yeah.
the tent at that point and go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right on, Ted.
Faith. I love it. You got to have faith. I'm telling you. Like I said, there's many times I've been down on my knees crying up a storm going, okay, just keep giving me strength. So,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. So yeah, I definitely have a very strong faith-based spirituality. So,
I was just gonna say that the each episode, so to speak, should be we're gonna try to make it topic specific. So we don't want to have one episode and touch on 5 or 6 different things. We want to make it really
hmm
concise and focused, and we'll
hmm
know going into it that this today we're going to talk about Parkinson's, or today we're going to talk about Alzheimer's, or whatever the topic is. And hopefully, ideally, wherever possible, we're going to try to find footage from all the. Jeff has a tremendous amount of footage from Jack LaLanne, so we'll try to find footage
hmm
that somehow complements the topic, and kind of use that as the background for the conversation whenever possible.